8 to 9 feet up high there on this this telephone pole. So I can see. Okay, so now it just gave me the alert, and I can see the camera is following me around here. I can even try to run around from it and just see what it does.
Hey everyone, this is Nate, and this is the Nader Tater channel. Alright, I have a really cool camera here. This one is from Eufy Security, and it does several really unique things. So I'm going to unbox it. I'll set it up outside. I will do some video footage, both planned footage where I go out there on purpose, and then also just natural footage. I should get plenty of wildlife and other things as well. Before I unbox it though, I'm going to talk about just a couple of the key features. I'll go into more details with them later on in the video as well. But one really neat thing about this camera that most do not have is it has Wi-Fi capability, but it also has 4G LTE cellular capability. So you can be remote and away from the house or Wi-Fi connection, and this will work on cell signal. It comes with a SIM card. It comes with a free trial, so you can test it out. That SIM card is actually really cool because it can use AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile bands. It automatically picks whichever one has the best signal. So that's really cool about it. And then it does have a solar panel that, you know, they call it forever power, meaning you never have to plug this in. It has a big enough battery. It only needs about 2 hours of sunlight a day to stay fully charged. And even if you don't have the solar panel hooked up at all, it's about a month of battery. So that gives you an idea. It does typically have plenty of battery power to stay charged, even if it's cloudy or if it's wintertime or whatnot. So the other big thing with this one is that it has automatic tracking, where the camera can rotate almost 360 degrees, and it can look up and down, you know, all the way from the horizon straight down below the camera, and it tracks people, pets, vehicles, that kind of stuff, and it has all that AI built into it. The other big thing with this camera is that it has the ability to tie into Eufy's home base, so their S380 home base, and that adds some more AI features, adds a lot more storage capability. Otherwise, you can do local storage on the SD card, which can be on the camera itself. You can also optionally pay for the cloud storage option that they offer as well. Now, one thing to note is for it to work with that home base, it does need to be on Wi-Fi. It does not connect to the home base if it's on this cellular connection. But the other key thing to this camera, it does have a light built into that camera lens, so it is able to have color vision at nighttime because it acts as a light that shines out there as well. So those are all some really unique features. I actually have some other LTE cameras, and they're missing a lot of these features. It doesn't have the pan and zoom capability that this one has. This one has 8x zoom. It doesn't have a light on it, and it doesn't have the ability to switch over to Wi-Fi like this one does. So this one is really versatile. I'm excited. Let's open it up, show you what's in there, and get going. Alright, so there we go. We can see the camera and the solar panel right here. Let's take it out. Alright, so one thing that's really neat about this solar panel is that it reaches about 25% solar conversion efficiency, which is really good. And that means that it's able to get more power from the same amount of sunlight, and so it also means that it can actually take lower sun light and actually still be charging. So that includes either cloudy days. It also includes if it's partially obstructed, you know. So for me, putting it out in the woods, even if there's branches or some slight shade on this, it still has the ability to charge up the camera. So that's a nice feature to it. Now it comes with a USB cable and a USB-C connection. I think it's a 6-foot long cable. I'm not positive on that, but that means that you can place the solar panel somewhere else than the camera itself. This is actually the mount here that you screw into the back of the solar panel with just a standard. I think it's a 1/4-inch thread. That's kind of well known for cameras. And then this one now you can place separately from the camera itself, so you can get the most sunlight. You get a sticker that just you can put out there if you want to alert people that you have a camera. You get a short USB-A to USB-C cable. That's for charging up this device. You don't typically need this actually ever. Most of them throw mine away. It does give you anchors and screws for attaching both the camera through this mount right here, or for the solar panel mount as well. Now, so this mount for the camera, you can see you have three holes here that you can use, and then the camera just simply slides in and clips into place. So you have this guy, and it just slides in, and then it's in place, and then you can press it and pull it off, and that's how you detach it from your connection there. So on the camera itself here, what I really like about these Eufy products is that they do feel really high quality. It is plastic on this outside here, but it is a nice high quality one. And even my cameras, I think I have 15 other Eufy products. I've been slowly replacing all my cameras with Eufy ones, both indoors and outdoors. And this one is just the latest one too, so this is number 16 actually. But they've been outside for a long time. I don't get a lot of yellowing or cracking or any problems with even the solar panels for that matter after being out there for years. So I'm pretty comfortable with saying that these are quality products that will last for many years. So on here you can see that you have a speaker grill. You have an indicator light that tells you if there's problems with it, if it's active. On the back side you have a couple things here for connections. One thing that's kind of unique is that it does have a antenna. So this antenna is for the cellular connection. So if you're in a place that doesn't get very good signal, you can actually hook in a antenna to it to help get that better signal here. And then in here as well, there is the SIM card. Now it comes with the free trial. This is from the EIoT Club. That's the one that allows you to go Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. You can also use your own SIM card. You do need to make sure that it is compatible with devices. Some SIM card plans, limit what type of devices they can go into. So you'll have to look into that with your plan yourself to make sure you can use an IoT type device. I think that's what most carriers should call these cameras. And but then you can use it. But you can also use this free one that comes with it, at least for the trial. And then you also have the USB-C port, so that's where the solar panel is actually going to plug into this middle one all the time. And then the last one is a sync button, so we'll do that here in a second when we turn this on and actually add it to my Eufy account. So next here you can see at the top of the camera is actually another pop-out rubber thing, and that is for the micro SD card. So this one here is a 32 gig SD card, but it can actually take up to 128 gig SD card, and that will give you honestly months of recording for most every person that's out there from a normal use standpoint. So you don't need anything more than this, but certainly if you wanted to, you could. And again, remember, this can go to a home base or the cloud if you want even further storage capability. All right, and then this is neat that they include this. Most of the time I do have trail cams, or I used to have trail cams before I got some of these really nice cellular cameras. This is a strap, which is really handy for a tree. And then it looks like the slots on here actually fit this, so you can use the standard mount and then just use this to go around a tree. And then obviously that is a quick way to install it outside on a pole or a tree, or probably something round for the most part on there. Alright, so here are the instructions. There's not a lot of them on paper. On the back side they do give you customer service phone number and email contact information, but then on the front side it really just tells you to go to your phone or your tablet and go to the App Store or the Play Store and download the Eufy Security app, or you can scan that QR code to probably do the exact same thing now. So for me, since I already have these Eufy cameras, I already have the app installed, so I can skip that part, and I'll just show you how to add a new camera to it. If you don't have the app yet, you will have to make an account, typically with your email address, and then you'll get started. Alright, so now I'm in the Eufy Security app. I'm going to hit the plus sign in the top right there. And now it's going to ask me what type of camera or device am I going to add. These are all the different ranges that they have. I'm going to go to the battery cameras here. And then at the top there is the 4G LTE. So this one's easy. If not, you have to scroll and find your camera. And then yes, I'm going to add it to the Nader Tater home. And then here, this is where you can tell it if you want it to be on Wi-Fi or the 4G network. Now, it looks like you do have to manually tell it which one you want it to be on. It does not automatically switch. That might be a firmware update in the future. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead, since I'm inside and I haven't even hooked up a SIM card yet, I'm just going to start with the Wi-Fi one, but I can change that later. Okay, so now this is where it is allowing me to pick, do I want to go to my home base or do I want to go to the router? Something to know with the newer home base, the S380 one, is it actually sends out its own Wi-Fi signal that's separate than your home Wi-Fi, and so that's why it has to ask you this question. So for me, right now, I'm going to hook it up just to my router directly to show you what that can do. Alright, so now I need to scan the QR code on the camera itself. Alright, so once I scan that QR code, it does ask you to connect the Wi-Fi. Now, the ideal thing is that your tablet or your phone is already connected to that exact same Wi-Fi. That's how it likes it the best, so I am connected to it. Now I need to press this button for about 4 seconds. Alright, so it beeped on me. I can see the blue light is flashing. And so we hit next. And then we're going to have this QR code up until make it fully displayed. So now this QR code is what I need the camera to see.
Connecting to the network. Please wait.
Alright, so I heard it beep. So that means that it got the QR code from my tablet. And now it's going to be trying...
Setup was successful.
It's going to connect to my home Wi-Fi. Now it says that it's successful. Now we'll tell it where it's going to go. So I'm going to make a custom one for this one. Alright, so you can call it whatever you want. I'm calling mine the Eufy 4G Trail Cam. Alright, now here's some settings that you can go through. So we'll walk through these. So there's optimal battery life, optimal surveillance, or you can do custom recording. So even in the optimal surveillance, it looks like it cuts off the maximum length of the videos at 20 seconds. I typically like to extend that. Now obviously you do want to make sure you have good sunlight so you can keep it, but I'm going to make it forced to for the 60 seconds, and then I'm going to have my trigger intervals be really short, but I am going to allow it to end the clip early if the motion stops. So the battery life is going to get affected by this, but this is what I like to have the most recording possible. Alright, we'll go to the next, and now here, this is where you can change the type of notification you get. If you want to get just a text without a thumbnail, you can do the most efficient, but I really like the full effect because this gives me the fastest notification where I get just a text notification, and it typically takes a second or two later for the thumbnail to come through, but so that's the full effect one. And then here you can see I do want to record the audio when it does a recording because it's nice to hear stuff. So for this one, I want the microphone to be both active as well as it being recorded. This is kind of a unique feature that I don't typically see. The microphone lets you hear, but if without the audio recording, it doesn't allow you to record it, or it won't record it. So I'm going to leave both of them on so it does record the audio whenever I am capturing footage. Alright, so now it clearly says that to charge it up all the way, which I'll do tonight before I go and install it. Here it tells you how to insert the micro SD card. Alright, and then here it just tells you how to install the unit so that it is oriented the right way. You basically want it always in this position, and then let the camera, you can adjust the settings so that it's looking down or forward, however it needs to be oriented to have the best view. Right, here's just kind of the standard guidelines. They do recommend 8 to 10 feet up high. That helps with both the view angle and detection algorithm, as well as keeps it a little bit out of hands reach from someone being able to access the camera directly. All right, so this is the default view. So whatever orientation you want to have the camera as, like the home, this is what you'd set up for that. I'm obviously not going to leave it like this, so I'm going to skip this setting, and I'm going to come back to that once I install this unit outside. Alright, so there you go. You could just see a alert come through, and you saw kind of how there's a little bit of a second delay between when it gave me the alert and then the second alert came, and that was actually the picture thumbnail of me that it found me. So it's also doing a firmware update right now, so we'll let it do that firmware update, and then I think we're probably ready to go outside after I charge this up and get it installed. Alright, so I charged it up overnight, and now let's take a look at these settings real fast. I do encourage you to actually set it up on Wi-Fi first so you can mess with these settings. At least you understand what it is, because it does use data if you're using the cellular. Now, I'm sure the actual, checking the settings, that doesn't use a lot of data, but if you are looking at the camera a lot or just messing around learning how it works and streaming a lot of 4K, then that can use up data very quickly. So I would encourage you to mess with it on Wi-Fi first. Here, mine is connected to my home Wi-Fi. I do not have it hooked up to my base station, but if I did, I would go here and tell it to continue through to hook up to home base 3, and then it will add the extra AI capability of the home base in addition to the AI capability that's built into it, where it stores, like I have like friends and family and strangers automatically detected and whatnot, and it saves them and it actually knows who it is that it detects. And then it also has a hard drive in there for increased storage capability. But again, I'm not going to do that on my camera because I'm going to be way back in the woods and it needs to be on Wi-Fi to hook up to that home base. Right now I also have the motion detector actually turned off. I can turn it back on here for you. Alright, so this is one part that you probably do have to do out where you're actually set up for activity zone, because it's going to show you a live footage, and then you can set up the angle that you want, like preset looks. So you can say, hey, I want to go preset 1, 2, 3, 4, and that one you can have set up where it's pan and tilted already to a specific location. You can adjust the sensitivity. For now, I'm probably going to leave it at 4. I might go a little bit higher, just to err on the side of getting too much movement detection than not enough. Alright, next you have day and night optimization. I'm not exactly sure what that does. Obviously the text there tells you that only selected detection events types will be recorded or triggered during the day, and all motion events will still be recorded at night. I assume that means that this detection type down below where it has just human checked, I'm going to do vehicles as well, and I can do all other motion if I want to make sure I capture everything, just again at the very beginning, just to make sure I capture everything. The next one is the AI tracking. That's certainly something I do want. I'm not sure why that would not be on by default, but that means that it's actually going to move the camera whenever it detects a person. It's going to track them. Alright, and then there's a motion test mode that you can do. So this will allow you to go in there, and there's a little red light on it that will flash whenever there's motion detected. So you could be out there set up and you could go around a corner or whatnot and you could see if the motion is detected or not. That's just kind of a quick, easy way to detect it or confirm it while you're out there in the field. Alright, pan and tilt. This one allows you to do these preset conditions. So again, I'm going to wait until I get out in the field to do that. Night vision, you have the option of black and white night vision where it just uses the infrared lights, or you can do the color night visions that's going to use the light ring that's around the camera to light up. That obviously will use up more battery, and so I think for now I'm going to leave mine on just night vision, but I might play with that and see which one I like better. Alright, power management. This is one that you probably do want to mess with, and it's going to really depend on what your needs are and how much sunlight you get in your location. For me, I'm going for a lot of video recording, so I have mine customized set to the maximum clip length of 60 seconds, the shortest amount of time between triggers. So that means if something's out there and after 1 minute that clip stops, it's going to take 5 seconds before it's going to before it will trigger another event and start recording again. So there is a 5-second lapse there between the clips that you're going to miss. But I also have it in the clip early if the motion stops. So if something runs through and after 12 seconds it's gone, it will stop recording before the 60-second mark. Next is the solar dashboard. Mine obviously has nothing in there because it hasn't been hooked up, but once we hook this up to solar, this is a really nice feature that you can watch the battery percentage trend over time. And one, you can see if you're not gaining or recovering your battery power that you need. That might help you decide on things like your battery optimization or your clip length. If you notice that your battery is trending down every day or every week, you could adjust it in advance. Alright, some video settings that we have here. All this is the default settings, so it has the logo watermark. The streaming quality is auto. You probably want to leave that on auto, so it's going to adjust it based off the bandwidth, especially on the cellular network. But the recording quality, this is all the local one, so I would definitely encourage you to change that to 4K. Obviously, you get less recording time on the same size SD card, but I've never ran into problems there with not having enough space with the SD card. Here's a privacy zone you can set up. So let's say you have your neighbor in the shot, the neighbor's property or house. You might want to, or might actually be required to by law, to actually keep a privacy so you're not recording them. This will prevent it from being recorded or saved to the disk, even if the camera does, panning and tilting. All right, audio settings here. I think I did touch on those. So this one is microphone. The audio recording is defaulted off. I turned it on, and then you can adjust the speaker volume. I'm probably going to make mine high because it's going to be outside and it's going to be hard to hear. And then you can change the app tone alert as well if you don't want the default one. And then you can also get the switching notifications for when it switches by schedule. You can actually have this set up on a schedule or through the app with kind of controlling all of your home camera systems with the Eufy app. All right, next is the general. We have the name, the status LED, which I typically leave off. And then next here you see there's connection settings on Wi-Fi. I can change that here, and I'm going to change it before I get out there because I know, or my assumption is, if I don't change it to cellular before I leave the house, that I might have to like add the device or connect through Bluetooth to get it to go on cellular. I'm not exactly sure how I do that, so I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to put the SIM card in here at the house and change it. But let me just see if there's any other settings I want to share you. Alright, but there is one thing I want to show first, and that's this shared device. So if you have a spouse or a friend or family or whoever that you want to share the camera with, they need to go make an account, an Eufy account, and then you can invite them. So that will send them an invite. That allows them to view this camera. I think you can adjust the settings as far as if they can change any settings or if they can just view it wherever it is. So that is how you can share the camera with people. So let's go back into general. Let's go back in here to connection settings, and I'm going to change it to 4G, but first I'm going to put the SIM card in. So this is the SIM card that comes with it. It's from the EIOT Club, and it includes a 100 megabyte trial plan for 7 days. So basically it's enough for you to test it out, but obviously you're not going to get a whole lot of use out of this unless you sign up for one of their plans. You don't have to sign up for EIOT if you don't want to. This one does have some nice features though, as far as it's multi carrier. It's Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, and it automatically picks the best one, sets the APN up. But I've also had good success with the ones like Tello. Tello allows you to have just data only plans, and I've confirmed I can put the Tello card in there and it will work. And Tello, I do like their setup. It's I get as low as $5 a month, and the data rolls over every month, so you never lose the data. So I think for that $5, I think it's a gig a month, which is more than enough. I've never ran into a problem there. And but there are some other benefits with the EIOT, and that is that you can combine multiple devices on one plan. So you can lump in the data together, which is nice. The Tello one is each SIM card is by itself. But let's go ahead and put this SIM card in here to this back side of the device. We just slide it in, press it until it clicks, and then you do want to make sure you seal up that silicone cover so that it's weather tight thereafter. So I put that in. I'm going to switch to 4G. Here it tells me, yep, please enter the SIM card. I'm going to tell it to connect directly.
Setup was successful.
Okay, so we just heard that successful setup. So that's using this EIOT Club. I just use the automatic setup configuration. So now it's on 4G. I'm going to go here and make sure my motion is off because I'm going to drive out to where I want to go. And I don't want it going off and recording a lot of stuff. Alright, so the other nice thing about the EIOT plan is that it does have all the data information built into the app. So if I start my free trial here, it does always stay connected even if you run out of data. but it won't record or send you anything. It just allows you to tell that the camera is actually on. So here's what I followed. This is what it tells you to do it, and then you can recharge directly from the app, I believe, as well.
All right, there we go. I got it set up now. They say 8 to 10 feet, which is about where I have it. I think I have it probably about 8 to 9 feet up high there on this this telephone pole. So this looks out over on, this is actually obviously a power line, and then a gas pipeline in my property, and so we get trespassers every once in a while. So now this one with the 8x zoom, 4K resolution, it's going to be able to track people and really get them. I've had problems before only having one camera out here of not always capturing them. So hopefully this one's gonna do a lot better. I'll do some testing here with my little property mobile, and let's set up the camera for the different presets and settings. All right, so here it is. Now I'm gonna turn the motion detection back on now that I'm out here. And now we can go to the activity zones. Now it wants me to have a default position first. So let's go in here and set my default. This is actually a pretty good one. I might go a little bit to the left. All right, so when it says limit has been reached, that's as far up as it looks. So I was trying to make it look up. So it looks like, it does look a slight down angle, not quite full up, but that's probably about right because you're gonna be looking down. That's why you have it higher. All right, so I'm gonna make this view my default one by hitting set. And now it's going to have this saved as my default. And I can go around here and get some other views that I might like. So like for this example, this is my field. So I can set that one. And I can come around here and capture the far right side as well. And this will just save me some scrolling if I ever want to look around on the camera. This will basically capture all of it pretty quickly. This just shows you what you can do as far as looking around. All right, so now that is saved. All right, so here is the activity zone. Now you can adjust these zones here as much as you like. You can add up to 3 different, they're kind of like octagons that you can then adjust the shape. And now you also get them for each of your preset positions. So here is switching to my different preset positions, and I'm setting up activity zones for each of those to make sure that I capture all these different areas. And there's a lot of overlap, and that's fine. So here you can adjust all of these settings here, and I'm probably going to pull up the bottom just a little bit, because sometimes if you're too close it can kind of mess things up. You can hit check mark, and then you can be all complete there. So now I have all my activity zones defined. All right, so I am in my car. I think the motion has probably stopped recording, but you can see back there through that window is the telephone pole and the camera. So now I have my phone here with me. I'm going to hop out and we're going to walk towards it and just see how it does for detecting me and then tracking me as it goes around. So I can see, okay, so now it just gave me the alert, and I can see the camera is following me around here. I can even try to run around from it and just see what it does. Now obviously if I go behind the pole, it won't track me anymore, but I'll do that just to show it that if I can go hide behind the pole, it's going to have trouble finding me, and then what it's going to do is eventually go back to the default position. So you can see it went back to the default position. I'm gonna come around the other side from it, and what you see there, it caught me, and now it came back onto me, and then I got another alert that that it sent me. All right, so if we go into my history here, you can see these couple of videos that are saved, and it does show you a little thumbnail icon of what it found. So I can click on one of these. I'm going to turn it sideways here, and this is going to show you what it did as far as detecting me. I can see the camera is following me around. I can try to run around from it and just see what it does. I'll look behind the pole. It won't track on anymore, but I'll do that just to show it. I can go hide behind the pole. I can have trouble finding me. And you see there, it caught me. Now, and then right here from the app itself in the bottom left, you can hit download, you can share it, you can, I guess, donate it. I think that's for their AI detection stuff, or you can delete it off of the camera itself.
All right, I want to show you just a couple things in the app there after it's been running for several days. And so the first one is really about the solar panel. So obviously when I put it up, it was raining, so that was not a sunny day. And then we did actually get some snow and stuff, but we did get some sun finally a little bit today. So I'm going to go in here to the power manager and show you, it shows you there at 94% battery up at the top. But I can click the solar dashboard. Unfortunately, this dashboard is about a 1 day delayed. I think it updates the battery state of charge. It says somewhere in here in the early hours of each day. And so when you look here, that charge ramp up was actually me plugged in, charging it up overnight. So that was not from solar. But I can tell it right now it's at 94%, which is still the same place that it was earlier today. So it did not drain any battery at all, and it's been able to maintain that charge. So I can see down in the bottom on these days of how much solar power it actually got from the sun that day. So you can see not a whole lot, but certainly enough to keep it at its current level. And if I have a nice sunny day, or if it's later in the summer time frame when you have a higher sun, it gets even more charging every day. So it looks like my settings will work for me without having to make the clip shorter or anything like that. I've been downloading videos in 4K resolution from the camera as well. That's something I can't show you in the app because I'm using the Tello SIM card. But if I was using the eIoT SIM card, it would show you how much data you have left. So for me, I had to log into Tello to see how much I've used. But you can see up here at the top, there's 3 working days. It's had 71 events that's detected, and 50 of them it recorded. So that means it detects something, and then it maybe decides, hey, I'm not going to record that because doesn't meet the criteria. So like if you had it as human or vehicle only, it might detect something and say, yep, I don't think it's a human or a vehicle, so I'm not going to record it. But that's with me having the settings pretty high. I did have a couple false alarms, so I've actually tapered it down a little bit. Now my setting, I am now at 5. I did have it at 7 for a while just to see what it would do. And it has detected a lot of things. If I go in here into the history. All right, so if we look at the history here, you can see that there is, in most of these, there is legitimate motion that's recorded. So it could be deer or turkeys or something like that it actually did record them and had proper motion. I had a couple of false alarms, so I did adjust those settings like I mentioned to fine tune it for where I'm at. And then I did have some rain on the lens on that first day that did mess up the vision a little bit, but it cleared up by itself. So all these are ones you can go in there and you can download them from the camera onto your tablet. It just uses up the cellular data. Alright, so I just logged into Tello just to show you in case you are curious. But it looks like here, in the days I had it when I first set it up, I did use 132 megabytes of data. I think that's when you're actually setting up the motion, activity zones, and presets. You're streaming, 4K resolution, or up to 4K resolution on your camera. So I've maybe do that for several minutes. It actually uses up a decent chunk of data. But then I have been using the camera and downloading data and being more active on it than I would say I typically am because I'm preparing it for this video. So the past few days I've used 20 and 61 megabytes of data. So to give you an idea, You know, that's definitely on the high end of what you would use. You would not typically do that. That's again me downloading 4K resolutions. So what I've seen is typically 1 gig a month is plenty for my needs of covering it, even if it's a time that I'm actually looking at the camera a lot. So rough idea there for you of how much data it uses to use it. Alright, I hope I answered most of your questions. If I did not, please put them down in the comments below. Do hit the like button for the video. That really does help my channel. And consider subscribing as well. And then remember, for Eufy cameras, it's local security and no monthly fees.